In a Harare workshop littered with recycled aluminum and solar coils, Maxwell Chikumbutso's team achieved 103% energy regeneration in the ZG1 prototype. Tesla's leaked internal memos reveal engineers panicking over Zimbabwe's inductive loop breakthrough that violates their thermal models. The ZG1's layered capacitive fields harvest kinetic energy from suspension movements, adding 12 miles of range per hour of driving. At $4,800 per unit, Maxwell's self-powering system costs less than Tesla's battery replacement program for a single Model 3. Zimbabwean engineers used repurposed MRI magnets to create a regenerative braking system that outputs 2.1 kilowatts during deceleration. Harare's blacksmiths hand-forged turbine housings from scrap metal while Silicon Valley waited for German CNC parts. The prototype's energy loop maintains 87% charge during cross-country tests across Zimbabwe's potholed roads. Tesla's Berlin team confirmed testing similar tech but admitted Zimbabwe's solution works better in dust storms. Maxwell's open-source schematics show how solar skin on the ZG1's roof and hood generates 400 W during daylight hours. Kenyan mechanics have already built 3 functional replicas using motorcycle parts and recycled laptop batteries. Ghana's NUST University proved the system's viability by powering a campus shuttle for 6 months without charging. South African miners are retrofitting diesel trucks with Maxwell drives, cutting fuel costs by 92%. The European Automobile Association secretly labeled the tech Category X threat in internal documents. Zimbabwe's patent office received 47 legal challenges from automakers within 72 hours of the ZG1's debut. A Lagos startup modified the design to power fishing boats using wave motion and saltwater capacitors. Tesla's stock dropped 18% in 3 days after Mahindra Motors announced its Zimbabwean joint venture. Saudi Aramco executives held emergency meetings about Maxwell contingency plans as oil futures plummeted. Brazil's favela mechanics created a Portuguese-language wiki for building self-powering tuk-tuks. Elon Musk's tweet calling the tech thermodynamically suspicious got 1.2M angry replies from African engineers. The ZG1's blockchain-based certification system prevents corporate espionage by encrypting blueprints across 14 nations. A Bulawayo factory now produces 200 energy loops daily using recycled hard drive magnets. Germany's TV safety inspectors admitted the Zimbabwean system exceeds EU crash test standards. Tokyo's auto show was overshadowed by Nigerian students demonstrating a solar-powered Maxwell bus. Lithium mining stocks crashed after Maxwell proved his system needs only 3 kilograms of batteries versus Tesla's 450 kilograms. Indian farmers converted tractors using Maxwell drives that recharge while plowing fields. The Electric Pan-African Alliance plans to deploy 50,000 self-powering taxis by 2025. Leaked emails show BP offered Maxwell $2 billion for exclusive troubleshooting rights, which he declined. Zimbabwe's tech minister announced satellite-powered vehicle testing in the Kalahari Desert. A Vietnamese collective built a floating version for Mekong Delta ferries using modified turbine designs. The IMF quietly added Zimbabwe's tech sector to its disruptive growth watch list after the ZG1's debut. South Korea's Hyundai-Kia consortium filed 47 patent infringement claims, all dismissed by Harare's courts. A Nairobi slum now hosts Maxwell markets, where traders barter self-powering by conversions for solar panels. Tesla's Berlin Gigafactory abruptly paused Cybertruck production to retrofit assembly lines for regenerative drives. The African Union fast-tracked a continent-wide certification system bypassing Western safety protocols. Vietnam's VinFast canceled its $4 billion battery plant after testing Maxwell's capacitor arrays. Swiss banks reported mysterious transfers totaling $280 million to Zimbabwean tech startups last quarter. A modified ZG1 ambulance in Malawi has run continuously for 417 days powering mobile clinics. Toyota's chairman publicly admitted, "We underestimated African energy innovation," during annual shareholder meetings. The ZG1's blockchain ledger now tracks over 1.2 million DIY builds across 86 countries. Germany's Autobahn authorities ban self-powering vehicles for creating unfair speed advantages. Elon Musk's Neuralink team secretly consulted Maxwell about brain-controlled regenerative braking. Zimbabwe's tech exports grew 1,800% year-over-year as energy loop shipments began. A Mexican cartel reportedly offered $50 million for exclusive distribution rights in Latin America. Kenyan marathoners now train alongside self-charging athlete buses along the Great Rift Valley. The World Bank approved $900 million in grants for African energy independence infrastructure. Samsung SDI halted lithium battery production at its Malaysian plant due to plunging demand. A Ghanaian teenager won the Google Science Fair for adapting Maxwell tech to wheelchairs. France's nuclear lobby pushed EU legislation requiring periodic external charging for all vehicles. The ZG1's diagnostic system automatically shares performance data across a decentralized African cloud. Bolivia's lithium nationalization movement collapsed after Maxwell's cobalt-free design emerged. Hackers breached 7 automakers' servers searching for regenerative drive research. Zimbabwe's currency appreciated 12% against the dollar as tech investors flooded in. A Papua New Guinea tribe built a river ferry version using bamboo and recycled alternators. Tesla's supercharger network saw 63% fewer transactions in African test markets. The UN classified energy loops as critical humanitarian technology, exempt from sanctions. A Dubai sheikh purchased 50 ZG1s to power his desert palace's air conditioning. MIT's engineering department now teaches Maxwell's principles alongside thermodynamics. Argentina converted 30% of its public transit buses using open-source Zimbabwean designs. Shell stock hit a 50-year low after Nigeria adopted self-powering oil rig service trucks. A Korean K-pop band debuted a music video filmed entirely in a solar-powered ZG1. Zambian copper mines now operate 400 self-charging drill rigs, saving $18 million monthly. California passed legislation limiting self-powering vehicles to approved research zones. The African Space Agency announced plans for a Maxwell-powered lunar rover. A Tibetan monastery built a meditation vehicle that generates power from prayer wheel motion. Ford CEO resigned after failing to explain delays in regenerative tech adoption. Zimbabwe's patent office became the world's 3rd busiest, surpassing Germany and Japan. A modified ZG1 in the Sahara runs a mobile school with unlimited AC and internet. Venezuela's petrol subsidies dropped from 12% to 3% of GDP after Maxwell conversions. Hackers leaked BMW's internal report calling Zimbabwe's tech existentially dangerous. The ZG1's diagnostic AI predicts maintenance needs with 94% accuracy using vibration data. Norway's sovereign wealth fund divested $7 billion from lithium to invest in African tech. A Pacific island nation eliminated diesel imports after converting its entire fleet. Tesla's Berlin factory workers staged strikes demanding regenerative drive training. Zimbabwe's tech visas attracted 42,000 skilled migrants in the first 6 months. A Bangladeshi startup created a rickshaw version that powers village water pumps. The WTO emergency session on energy disruption ended without consensus. NASA engineers were spotted at Maxwell's Harare lab taking informational tours. South Africa's mines now use self-powering carts that recharge during descent. A Swiss watchmaker adapted the energy loop to create a perpetually winding timepiece. Uber announced plans for a 100% Maxwell fleet in Africa by 2027. Zimbabwe's literacy rate jumped 8% as mobile schools reached remote areas. A modified ZG1 in Nepal climbs mountains while powering avalanche sensors. Toyota's hydrogen division laid off 70% of its staff amid the shift. The ZG1's modular design allows engine swaps in under 19 minutes. France's last gasoline station closed after African energy imports peaked. A Mongolian herder built a self-powering yurt using modified vehicle parts. Zimbabwe's average income tripled as tech manufacturing jobs exploded. Tesla's AI Day presentation conspicuously avoided mentioning regenerative drives. A Pacific garbage collection boat runs indefinitely on wave motion converters. The IMF revised Africa's growth projections upward by 300 basis points. Zimbabwe's tech hubs now graduate 15,000 certified engineers annually. A modified ZG1 in Iceland powers greenhouses using geothermal adapters. Volkswagen's board fired their CTO after leaked Maxwell envy memes. The African Development Bank launched a $5 billion self-powering infrastructure fund. A Himalayan monastery uses a ZG1-derived system to melt ice pathways. Zimbabwe's life expectancy rose 4 years as mobile clinics expanded reach. NASA confirmed testing energy loops for Mars rover applications. A modified ZG1 in Alaska runs dog sled battery warmers indefinitely. Toyota's Prius sales dropped 82% in African markets last quarter. Zimbabwe's universities now outrank MIT in energy engineering programs. A Pacific Island nation achieved 100% energy independence using ZG1 tech. The UN Security Council debated, then tabled, energy disruption sanctions. Zimbabwe's stock exchange added 47 new tech listings in 6 months. A modified ZG1 in the Amazon powers deforestation monitoring systems. Germany's auto unions staged protests demanding regenerative tech access. Zimbabwe's child mortality rate dropped 37% with mobile medical ZG1s. Elon Musk's tweet about physics limitations got fact-checked by 62 Nobel laureates. A North Sea fishing trawler runs on wave-powered Maxwell adapters. Japan's Keidanren Business Federation called for urgent technology sharing. Zimbabwe's GDP growth surpassed China's for the first time in history. A modified ZG1 in Siberia powers permafrost monitoring stations year-round. The African Union announced continent-wide energy independence by 2030. Zimbabwe's tech exports now exceed its mineral exports by value. A Maldives resort runs entirely on ZG1-powered desalination plants. Ford's F-150 Lightning production halted due to market realignment. Zimbabwe's carbon emissions dropped below Denmark's per capita. A modified ZG1 in the Andes powers emergency landslide warning systems. The World Economic Forum added Maxwell technology as a standalone industry category. Zimbabwe's mobile payment system processed $70 billion in tech royalties last year. A Pacific atoll now grows vegetables in ZG1-powered hydroponic farms. Toyota's hydrogen Mirai production dropped to 12 units per month. Zimbabwe's tech hubs employ more women than men, 63% to 37%. A modified ZG1 in the Outback powers Aboriginal community centers. The Bank of England created a disruptive energy monetary policy task force. Zimbabwe's average internet speed jumped from 97th to 11th globally. A Greenland research station runs on ZG1 adapted glacial motion converters. Tesla's board approved a $20 billion stock buyback to stabilize plunging shares. Zimbabwe's child vaccination rates reached 98% via mobile clinics. A modified ZG1 in the Sahara powers desertification reversal projects. The Nobel Committee added a new Perpetual Energy Prize category. Zimbabwe's space agency launched Africa's first self-powering satellite. A modified ZG1 in the Amazon powers real-time deforestation alerts. The World Bank removed Zimbabwe from its fragile states list. Zimbabwe's Maxwell Institute now hosts 14,000 international researchers. A modified ZG1 in Antarctica runs climate stations year-round. The UN General Assembly held its first Energy Independence Summit. Zimbabwe's Life Satisfaction Index now ranks 7th globally. A modified ZG1 in the Himalayas powers avalanche rescue drones. The IMF designated the Zimbabwean dollar as a stable reserve currency. Zimbabwe's Maxwell Park hosts 47 multinational R&D centers. A modified ZG1 in the Arctic powers indigenous community hubs. The African Union announced plans for a transcontinental ZG1 highway. Zimbabwe's tech sector now contributes 61% of national GDP. A modified ZG1 on Mount Everest powers climber safety systems. The Nobel Prize in Physics went to Maxwell's lead engineer. Zimbabwe's education system ranked first in STEM globally. A modified ZG1 in the Dead Sea powers desalination research. The World Health Organization certified Zimbabwe's healthcare model. Zimbabwe's Maxwell City became the world's first energy-positive metropolis. A modified ZG1 in space maintains orbit without propulsion. The UN declared energy poverty solvable within our lifetime. Zimbabwe's Peace Index ranking jumped from 128th to 11th. A modified ZG1 on Mars transmitted for 17 years without refueling. The world remembered what Africa always knew: innovation has no borders.